I'm Evelyn Culp, interviewing her.
Welcome to Evie's History Bites, hosted by Martha Owen, the Heritage Collection Manager of the ELC Heritage Collection. Hi, I'm Martha, your host. We have another great episode for you this month. Scott from Thingamabobbles Toy Store sat down with me and we talked about the store, toys, and Nappanee history. So let's dive right in. Go ahead and get started.
Sure.
So thank you, Scott, so much for sitting down with me.
Yeah, you're welcome.
So why don't you just tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, so it's weird. I usually don't talk about myself when I talk about the store. But yeah, so I was born in Minnesota. I was raised most of my life in Illinois, and then I moved to Indiana at the end of high school. So it's weird to think I've lived in Indiana the majority of my life by a lot, but I still don't really think of myself as like being a Hoosier necessarily.
Yeah.
But I love living in Indiana, and my dad was a pastor growing up, which was great and also interesting, and I'm thankful for my parents. Personally, I love artwork. I love painting and drawing, and I do graphic design as well, so I think that has helped me try to have some sort of a visual element to the store, or try to make it appealing, not just with having a bunch of stuff, but having the experience be pleasing as you're shopping. And I have a wife and a daughter and 2 dogs who we very much love, and we live in town in Nappanee here, and we love it.
All right. So what is Thingamabobbles?
So when we were coming up with a name, we had kind of figured the year leading up to the store opening we'd already kind of committed in a way to the store being a thing. So then I was kind of brainstorming, looking up other independent toy stores across the country. A large majority of them have some sort of goofy name that is hard to spell and kind of sticks with you, or you get like half of it right. You're like, is it this or that? So I like the idea of having a name that I wouldn't have to do much work to make it be the top of search results.
Yeah.
Like I don't have to pay to have it be on the first page. It's the only thing spelled like that on, I think, the entire internet as far as I know. And it was easy to get the domain for the website since it was not a thing. And my wife and I also love Disney and musicals and stuff. So thinking of Mary Poppins and Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious, and also the funniness of like, you remember the whatchamacallit candy bar?
Oh, yeah.
And just their branding and stuff. So, I thought that was kind of just to take a lighthearted approach. And also to not have it be, there's lots of toy stores, which are great, that have very dry, boring names.
Yeah.
Like I could have called it like Scott's Toy Barn or something. It's like, that doesn't really hammer it home too well, but yeah.
Yeah. I was looking at the 1884 map of Nappanee the other day, and it has like a lot of the businesses that were downtown at that time, and like one of them, and I need to research exactly what this was because I'm really confused because the gentleman was like the constable
Okay.
of Nappanee, but like it just said like John Kerr Toy House.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd be very curious as far as what that meant.
Yeah,
like what did toy? Because I watched a lot of like History Channel stuff, like the toys that made us or whatever. And people's idea of what a toy was back then was probably very different than us at this point.
Yeah. So like I'm very, very curious to see what that actually meant. But I love the name Thingamabobbles. It just is like it really rolls off your tongue.
Yeah, I think it's not too much of a tongue twister, right?
Yeah, no.
It's all right, but it is funny when it's I also have a very hard last name to pronounce. so I guess I'm kind of used to it. But hearing it the couple times it's either been on like a news clip or the radio or something, I'm guessing newscasters aren't maybe super thrilled to have to say it, but they usually get it right.
Yeah.
But it can be a mouthful for sure.
Yeah, and it's like it's also like what you call something when you can't even think of what it's called.
It's like a trinket or like a bauble or like trying to come up with the name of something.
Yeah. So why a toy store?
Well, so my wife and I, when she's grown up in Nappanee her whole life, when we first got married over 10 years ago, we moved to South Bend, kind of by the airport, lived there for about 8 years. And then when our daughter became preschool age, we moved back to Nappanee and wanted her to go to Wani schools. And at the point that we moved back, this would have been, I don't know, 6 years ago or so. No, it was more than that, probably 8. But we were at a point where I was kind of looking to switch careers, like out of a busy graphic design role into something else. And we had like a short list of maybe 5 business ideas that didn't currently exist in Nappanee to try to maybe explore. And a toy store was one of them, and probably the best one. I don't know.
Yeah.
At least the most interesting, I would say. And so yeah, we did the research, and my daughter always loved interesting toys growing up. She also loved stuff like Paw Patrol and things like that too, but we just were able as parents to learn about toys that I hadn't had growing up and that were different and unique, and then kind of making a greatest hits of toys that our daughter loved. And after a while it felt like, okay, I think I have enough as a parent to know what I could help another parent find. Mm-hmm. But yeah, and so that kind of passion for discovering different ways to play with your kids or interact with your kids, and also finding enough brands that could support that idea. And knowing that they were out there was like, okay, I'm confident like we could fill a store with enough unique things.
Yeah, I know the Pigeon, which you guys have all of Mo Williams.
Pigeon's great. Mo Williams awesome.
That's a huge hit in our house.
Yeah.
And then also Bluey is a huge hit.
Who doesn't love Bluey?
Yeah.
I love Bluey. Maybe more than my daughter even. Yeah. I'm sure most parents would have, almost all parents. I've cried watching Bluey.
Yeah, I have too.
Of course. And that's what they're trying to get at. They were sneaky about it.
So you started at Coppice Commons and moved to this new gorgeous store with a storefront downtown. What has been the most exciting about moving?
I think the thing we were looking forward to the most was the fact that when we were thinking about the toy store, and I think what most people think about a small town toy store when they're traveling or in a small town is like this sort of setup where it's a sidewalk, storefront, display window facing traffic. Kind of all the shapes are the same too, like a long, narrow kind of retail space. And so that was the thing I think we were the most excited about, just having like more of an outward presence. Pretty hard to deny. If you have a little kiddo and you're walking past and you see the stuff in the windows, you get a pretty good idea of it. Mm-hmm. I have had some people, the sign says Thingamabobbles Toy Store. And I still have people come in and they're like, oh, we made it. We didn't know it was I was like, it says toy store on the sign. It's like going to a restaurant, it says steakhouse. I'm like, you guys have steak? It's like, yeah. It says it. So, but yeah, I think that was the thing that was most exciting. Our own space, downtown. Yeah. And I loved parts about being at Coppice, and I made so many great friends there. Mm-hmm. And I still love to go there as much as we can as a family and support and stuff. And what they have going on is very historical too, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's very relevant to you guys and everything you guys do, and a lot of changes happening.
Yeah, a lot of changes. And I will say at Coppice, I did love like your 2 doors.
I love the 2 doors.
Yeah.
They're still in the basement here.
Oh, wow.
I was like, there has to be a way at some point. And Martha and I are sitting in the back, maybe quarter of the store,
Yeah.
which is kind of for arts and crafts, but there's a place where we could build a partial wall permanently and put the doors back. So I'm not saying it's out of the question, but it was such a fun way to enter the store.
Yeah.
And especially in Coppice, you kind of round the corner and it would take a lot of people by surprise. And it added to that sort of like, I guess, curiosity about what's inside. But yeah, missed it.
So you're saying that, people don't like see that it's a toy store and everything like that. And you're in part of the old antiques on the square building.
Mm-hmm.
So do people still come in asking if it's an antique store?
Yeah, I think some people are surprised to see that it's maybe not. But it is handy with 1874 over there, because I can quickly just say, oh, well, they are over there, like, and it's great. So usually what I get the most is my own history lessons bestowed upon me by a lot of great local people who have memories of whether it was antiques on the square or further back in time. Like I've heard sometime in the 90s it was like a fabric supply store, and then further back it was Wegmiller's, and then I think it was Stilson Sports something or other too as you go back in time. But the most popular memory that people bring up, it's always the exact same age group. It's like people my father-in-law's age who would be, he's like early 70s, the Brock's candy counter. Either people who worked that counter in high school or kids who would go here and, you get the scoop and the little white baggie and they would scoop it in there. So by far the number one thing people always, oh yeah, I remember the Brock's candy counter. And it's like, man, it would be cool to get a Brock's candy counter. That would be cool.
That would be cool. That would, you would probably have a lot more kids in here if you had a candy counter.
Probably a lot. It would be like that scene in Charlie and the Chocolate Factory at the beginning where they like totally mob the candy store and there's like 100 kids and they get one guy back there. That would be me.
Yeah, I think what's the craziest thing about the history of the building that you're in is it once upon a time was called Coppice Pharmacy. So like it's
interesting.
It's almost like full circle for you that you started out at Coppice Commons.
I'm still at Coppice,
and you're still at Coppice with.
Would that have been
Pharmacy.
owned by the same family in some way?
Yes, it would have been. So Coppice Pharmacy. So one of the Coppice brothers, one of his sons kind of didn't really want it. He ended up being a salesman for the factory and everything like that. But he really didn't know what he wanted to do. He didn't want to be a part of the factory. He didn't. And so his dad almost paid for all of these ventures. Just to give him something to do.
Try to find his path.
And Coppice Pharmacy, I don't even think, if I remember correctly, didn't even last a year.
Okay, so it was a blip, kind of.
Yeah, it was kind of a blip.
What decade would that have been?
It would have been in the we have a picture of it in 1909, them standing outside the pharmacy. I think it might have been like, it might have started in 1909. But we have a picture of people standing outside of the pharmacy because it was right when Elkhart County voted to become a dry county.
Okay, so we're talking Prohibition times.
So like Prohibition times.
Interesting. I feel like every time I've heard, I mean, there's obviously been hundreds and hundreds of different storefronts throughout the years, but I can never wrap my head around how many pharmacies one town can have in such close proximity. But I guess when you think about, people weren't leaving. Yeah. Like you weren't driving to Elkhart or Warsaw or something like that. Because I always think about with Wegmiller's and then hearing about there's several kind of like five and dimes existing at the same time in relatively short distance. Yeah. But they all people had positive memories about them all, and it seemed like each one must have had their niche. I don't know what it was. Maybe this was the Brock's Candy Counter. I don't know.
Yeah.
But for them to all survive, there must have been something each one had. I don't know.
Yeah, it is really crazy, like, how many restaurants Nappanee had and was able to, like, you know, have them all, and none of them, they were probably, like, 10 downtown.
That's wild.
Like, at one point, and they all had lunch counters. They
Sure.
all, one had a gentleman's area, and the other had, like, and then, like, in the back, it was more, like, family suited. So it's just really weird, like, how much, and each like, really, like, pharmacy and, like, general store or Five and Dime, they did have their niches, but they were more than just what they were.
Sure.
Like, across the street at the Five Diamonds building, that was Walter Drugs.
Okay.
In the late 1800s. That building actually moved here from Locke. So
Weird.
Okay. It's one of the three downtown, and when you look at what they sold more than just drugs. They were selling building supplies.
Just like 2x4s.
Yeah, like 2x4s, like lath.
Interesting. So it was like a hardware store kind of.
Yeah, it was like a hardware store as well. And, you know, that because Nappanee didn't have a hardware store, like, when they were adding all of these building supplies. So it's really weird. Another thing is we actually have pictures. I don't know if I've shared them with you. If not, I will. When I get back to the Heritage Collection, I will. We have pictures of your building being built.
Okay, so you sent me some, I think like last spring or summer.
Oh, yes.
One of my favorite one is, I don't know if they're redoing the facade or something, but it's like the entire Main Street in front of the store is filled with like thousands of bricks.
Yeah.
Just like a mountain of bricks, and there's like a group of masons standing on the roof line and just trying to fathom like how many bricks were I don't know if those were bricks they were using or bricks they were done with, but that seemed like a big project.
Yeah, very much so.
Yeah, that was a cool picture.
So with your store, you have a store mascot named Bob. So
yes.
what is Bob's story?
I don't need to go into the whole thing, but the main thing is, so I made that character for my mom who makes stuffed animals.
Okay.
And I made it quite a long time ago, like maybe 2010 or something like that. And she still makes them. I used to have a couple around the store, but he wasn't named Bob yet. He was just this character, like a blue Yeti kind of. It kind of reminds me of, do you ever watch Yo Gabba Gabba?
Yeah.
Muno, the red one with the one eye. It's kind of like Muno a little bit too, I guess. But so time had passed since I made it and when we started the store, and we were trying to think of, it just helps to have some sort of mascot. It's kind of a catch-all for things. He's like our little avatar circular logo on social media, and it's just, he's happy and I like the colors. But Bob, Thingamabobbles Bob, it's just kind of like, that was the choice there. And yeah, he pops up sometimes. Sometimes I'll have him on social media posts, and he's just around.
He's almost like lurking about, watching over.
Yeah, like a Bigfoot who is just like pretty chill about everything. Doesn't mind being spotted, but also doesn't mind his space.
Yeah.
That's Bob.
Yeah, at the Heritage Collection, we have our bulldog who sits in the food car.
Yeah.
Petey. And Petey has a whole backstory with his history. He was used in the 1960s. He actually appears in the Nappanee High School yearbook. So, like,
was the high school's mascot Bulldogs back?
Yeah.
Okay, because my daughter goes to NES, and they're the Bulldogs now.
Yeah.
And that used to be the high school. Mm-hmm. Is that way?
Yeah. So the Bulldogs, we have no idea when and why they were named the Bulldogs, but there were real bulldogs appearing in their pictures in like the early 1900s.
Really?
The basketball team really wasn't called the Bulldogs until probably about the 1930s. They started appearing as such in the newspapers. Like before that, they were like the Onion Kings. And
That's a great name.
Yeah, things like that. JV was called the Pups.
Oh, that would be a bummer to be on JV.
And then like varsity was called the Bulldog. Like
okay.
So they've always, and they have the same colors at Nappanee High School and things like the blue, the royal blue.
Gotcha.
And everything like that. So
That's
our
funny.
Our PD he has a whole history. He also is the one who talks to the elves when they come and check up on Santa's sleigh. And so he gets PD is very involved in everything that we do. Probably just like Bob as well.
Yeah, he's like, I call on him when I need him. And sometimes I've used it as a way to, I don't want to say something that's hard for me to say, but, yeah, that's what they are, right? They're like a spokesperson or something, or they can say it in a different way than I could, kind of. But, I love like doing graphic design and stuff and looking back at old like spirit wear and school designs. You go back like through the 20th century and stuff, and I would kill to see like an Onion Kings basketball jersey. Like, what does that? Is it an onion with a little crown on? That would be cool. Like, it reminds me of all the great like minor league baseball team names, like Banana Slugs and like the tin caps, like Fort Wayne tin caps. It's like a Johnny Appleseed thing. But Onion Kings. Okay, I'm going to have to pull that out. Major trivia night. Yes, I love it.
Yeah. So we're in the store, and we're actually in an area that you didn't have when you were at Coppice. So can you kind of talk about your craft area?
Yeah, so that was one of the goals, too, from the beginning, was to maybe try to incorporate something other than just retail, and having a young kiddo in a smaller town, always looking for something to do, like that might not necessarily be buying something, but doing something. So, the purpose of the back quarter of the store is during normal business hours, you can come, buy a craft, paint it, take your time, and then it's just acrylic paint, so it dries quickly and you can be on your way. So it could take as little as, I've seen some kids finish in like 5 minutes. I don't think the parents are super thrilled, but when it only costs $3, I don't think they really care a whole lot. So, but then there's, I'll have kids who are late grade school or middle school paint ceramics and take an hour and just are really detailed. So it's fun to watch. It was fun this summer on summer break. And then also incorporated in the back, which a lot of people remember this mezzanine. When it was Wegmiller's, it was like the manager's office.
Oh, okay.
When it was the antique places, they had vendors up there as well. It's kind of like a half floor. So for me, my head almost touches the ceiling. For kids, it's no problem. But yeah, that's basically a carpeted play area.
Oh, nice.
That we're kind of continually trying to expand upon and like add more things to. But typically we don't use it for a whole lot, except for when people rent the space in the back for a birthday party. They can choose to have that be part of it as well. And I was just telling you that we had a party Saturday and they chose that as part of it, and they're having a great time. It's fun. It gives you a little bit more space to kind of spread out. It's really, I would say, only super relevant for kids who are maybe 2 to 8. It's like a play kitchen and a market, and there's lots of demos of ours up there. But I love having the space back here. It also acts as a landing spot for when we host our own things, like the Stuffy Sleepover, and we've had just some theme stuff coming up leading up to Christmas as well. So it's nice.
Yeah, very, very nice. And I like the try it before you buy it.
Yeah,
very much so. I know you generously donated a Tony box to the Nappanee Public Library for it to be checked out and everything, and we check it out.
It's great. I think the pigeon is one of them, isn't it?
Yes, the pigeon is one of them. So I actually have a video of my little boy. He's almost 14 months old, but we're listening to the "Don't Let the Pigeon Drive the Bus," and the little kids keep on going no, and after the little kids say no, he's like, no. So
that's what I love about that book. It's like kids are like, I'm never gonna be that naughty. Like they're like pleading with the pigeon, like, please behave.
Yeah. So our family loves that donation that you did to the library, and
I was glad to be part of it. Honestly, like other than I asked Tony's if we could have one.
Yeah.
And I love the library in general, but I love the concept and the trend of a library of things.
Yeah.
Just how handy it is for families to either try before you buy, or like I saw something like there's like hedge trimmers and stuff if you need a tool, or big yard games if you're hosting a party. So I love that concept, and I was like, yeah. So I asked Tony's, and they were kind enough to send one, and I was like, sweet, this is a good way not to like, I can't even say that I had enough foresight to think about it as like a marketing idea, I guess. It's easy for me to be able to send somebody, if they're thinking about getting one and they're going on a trip, I'll just tell them like, hey, if you have a chance, check it out at the library, see if it works. Like, see if your kids care. Like, for one, like if your son is loving it, cool, but does he only love it for like 30 seconds?
Yeah.
Well, then maybe don't. I don't know. It's one of the things my wife used to make fun of me, because when we first opened, I've never had a sales role in my life. Like, it's not a career I've had. I'm not necessarily like trained in any way. So I would be like actively talking people out of purchasing things. Like, they'd be on the fence about it, and then I'd feel guilty and be like, I don't know, maybe it's not a great fit. Maybe you should just, she's like, you need to quit talking people out of buying things. And I'm like, I know, but I want to make sure they like it. So that's kind of the Tony's thing. I send them like, just try it, please. I don't want you to buy it and be like, oh, they never played with it. Like, I would feel better if you at least gave it a go. But
I think the pigeon was the only one that he liked.
Yeah, same. But like, my daughter's had one for since she was 5, so about 5 years, and we've gone through. If we're playing a board game, we'll listen to a Disney one. But there's one that she listens to every single night, and it's Diary of a Wimpy Kid. And every single, it's like her sound machine, and I love it. We've played it like a bajillion times, but that's her go-to. Everyone gravitates towards one of them.
Yeah. So you briefly mentioned it, but you had an event recently where you invited kids to bring their favorite stuffed animals for a sleepover, and I will say, like, I watched the social media of like their whole the whole sleepover, and I loved it. So can you explain that event and what other fun events you have planned for the future?
Yeah, that one was it's not like a totally original idea in any stretch. Like we had heard that, the library's done, like they did the American Girl doll one and things like that. And some friends of ours at a toy store called Matt Kite in Grand Haven, they've been doing it the last couple of years. So I kind of have seen them doing it. And I was like, and at Coppice, we didn't really quite have the space to do it, at least in an interesting way. So here, once we were here, it was more about just kind of picking a time. So we picked fall break for like wanting fall break, and it was fun. The drop off was kind of like, we had a letter that they wrote to their stuffies as like an encouragement, like be brave and try your best, and then over the course of the night we wrote ones back as the stuffies to the kids the next morning, telling them what they did, and then we had breakfast together with the kids. We had cereal and orange juice and stuff, and it was just really sweet. I think it gave kids a chance to kind of, I don't want to think about it too deeply, but it was kind of like a way to talk about maybe separation anxiety or knowing, kind of getting you comfortable with like spending the night at your grandma's house, or saying goodbye, but being able to be okay with that. And And we had a super fun time with the social media. We went a little bit overboard, but we were here. It was me and our 3 employees and my wife and my daughter and actually my daughter's friend. And we were all here, and the drop-off ended at 7. And then as soon as people left, we're like, we got to start taking pictures.
Yeah.
Because there ended up being like 22 stuffed animals. So we had broken into 2 groups of 11. Mm-hmm. Half of us were taking pictures like in the play area, like doing a puppet show, and then I was down here like taking pictures of them eating pizza. We went to Sweet G's and had the pictures of them getting ice cream. Went to Cartoon Alley, and then all through the night, I had timed posts going out about every 2 hours, and yeah, it was just really funny. So we didn't leave here until maybe 10:30, so the posts were starting to like sneak up on real time of me like taking and editing these pictures. But yeah, we just kept on coming up with funny ideas for like, oh wait, before we go, what if they got into the candy and dumped it all over the floor? Like, okay, we'll do this and then we gotta go.
Yeah.
But it was super fun, and it was just a fun way to use the space. Yeah, as far as other events coming up, I have several ideas of things to do this winter that are more kind of like to try to cure cabin fever, sort of. Mm-hmm. I wouldn't say it's kind of like this. Like, it's nothing super mind-blowing, but it's stuff that we either don't see happening in town or think it could be different here. Yeah. I dare not say exactly what it is because I hate to, under deliver, but
yeah,
they're going to be fun. Most of them like focusing on January through March, like dead of winter type things, but nice. Should be fun.
Yeah. And I was just thinking too, like your location downtown, you mentioned Sweet G's and you mentioned Cartoon Alley. You have the bookstore across the street as well. Mm-hmm. You're really in a perfect place to be like a one-stop shop.
Yeah.
You have the antique store on the other side of you, but really geared towards kids. There's actually a lot of stuff to do downtown.
There is. I think one of my favorite things to do, especially in the summer, when you get more like day trip people, like someone from Valpo or something, and they have 2 of their grandkids with them, it's not hard to fill someone's day up.
Yeah.
Like, we have such great parks, and having a daughter, an elementary age daughter, it's like we've gone to all these parks so much. I can easily tell you which ones will fit whatever you're looking to do, or go do all of them. Who cares?
Yeah.
But then if they have older kids, or if they're younger adults themselves, like go to the art path and get a cup of coffee at Main Street or something and just take that in on a nice day. But I love the fact that being where I am here, I can practically just go on the sidewalk with them and point.
Yeah.
And just be like, do you like chocolate? There's Venny's. Do you like books? There's Bella's. Do you like clothing? There's Key. There's Main Street. There's Neighbors. So I think that's what all of us downtown as business owners appreciate, is that it almost overwhelms the customers that I'm talking to about, because they're like, oh, I wasn't planning on, and sometimes they aren't, like they don't have enough time. Mm-hmm. But if you put it in their mind for next time, that they might open up their schedule a little bit and be like, you know what, let's head there early. I remember there's stuff I didn't get to do because we were in a rush. So that makes me happy.
Yeah.
I don't think people could leave and feel like they didn't have a chance to at least find a category that they wanted. I feel like they're all represented pretty well.
Oh yeah, yes, for sure. And I will say, when people come to the museum and like we double as a welcome center, visitor center, and they're asking about stuff to do, and we just blow their minds.
Yeah, I don't think there's many towns the size of Nappanee that do it this well.
Yeah.
And I'm obviously, my opinion is a little bit biased,
yeah.
But I have lived in a lot of small towns growing up. I lived in a really small town in Illinois called Monticello, which is by Decatur in southern Illinois. I lived in a really small town called Forreston in northern Illinois, which is kind of like a Bremen-sized farm town. And granted, that was in the 90s as well, but you have to have the motivation culturally to make it a destination. And some towns have it and some don't. Like, the amount of public art that we have in Nappanee for how big the town is insane.
Yeah.
I saw a thing the other day. I think it was Des Moines, Iowa, or something like that. Somewhere in Iowa, there was a sculpture park in a pretty big town that people would recognize the name. And it had like 10 sculptures in it, which is still great. 10 is better than 0. But I was like, people are freaking out about this thing. It's like 10 sculptures. We have like 100 by the golf course alone, and they're great. So that always, I try not to take it for granted, and I know it's mixed opinions about it. But what I was trying to tell someone last week was that obviously these things are for us as locals and citizens of Nappanee, but in reality, these things are meant to draw people in. Yeah. It's meant to have them feel comfortable while they're here. Granted, like, we're the ones like funding it and creating it and stuff like that, but it's a way to encourage tourism in general, in a different, unique way. Yeah,
and I will say, to kind of piggyback off of the whole arts and sculptures thing, I was doing a program series for Long Life learners that's at Greencroft.
Okay.
It's this series that they do at Greencroft where their residents and other residents of Goshen all over can come and do this lifelong learning. So they're always learning. So they bring in different organizations. I did a 4-part series about the history of Nappanee using our walking tours as PowerPoints. I had a request to do a PowerPoint of the dogs.
The junkyard dogs?
Yeah, the junkyard
cool.
dogs. Like, it was right when those were very popular and they were downtown. And they were like, can you go and take pictures of all of the junkyard dogs and do a presentation about them on top of your other presentation that you're going to come and do the next week? And I did. I missed a few dogs.
There's a lot.
There are a lot. And it was when they were downtown. So
that'd be harder to track them down.
It was really hard to track them down. But I think I got the gist of it. But it was just so weird that I was asked to do a presentation about the junkyard dogs.
That one, I mean, I think that one, we walk down the walking path a lot. We have 2 dogs. We have a dog park membership. We always, and my daughter has seen it for years as we walk by. It never gets old. She's always like, we're either finding something new, like, they used a headlight for the eye, whatever. And seeing people's reaction the first time they've been down that way is so fun. Like, I took my parents past it. We went to that promenade on the path with them. And my dad was and he's a construction guy. He's just appreciates craftsmanship. So he was just like, oh, look, it's like a rebar and it's shaped like, so it's cool. I think it's relatable. But and do you think the people at Greencroft, were they so curious about it? I guess I didn't think about it till just now, but because they themselves couldn't go and maybe explore. Yeah, so you were like doing recon for them? Yeah,
I was doing, some of it was recon. Others obviously had been here to know about it.
Sure.
But some of the other ones, it was just recon for them because like they were like, oh, like this is really, really cool. And like,
oh, that's funny.
And one of the people was, they are on the board at the Goshen Historical Society. So and they had been down here and they're like, Martha, you just need to do this. And I was like, okay, I'll do it.
Like a little foot soldier.
Yeah, I'll go for it too. So yes, before I forget which walking tour it was back when we only had 4, not the 10.
Wow.
That we have now. So I can't remember which one it was. So I don't even think that I tried to integrate the dogs into the walking tour. I just did a presentation on the dogs.
For sure. I love it.
All right. So a fun question. What was a favorite toy of yours growing up?
This one, I was thinking about this question for a while now, and there's a couple I have in mind. I was such a busybody kid. You were just talking about your son before we started, and very reminiscent of myself. Like, not even sometimes playing with anything, just like finding not mischief to get into, but doing something like a stick or something like that. There are a couple of, like, major standouts. One of them was we went to Disney when I was in third or fourth grade, and I got an Abu stuffy from Aladdin, and I loved that thing so much. My favorite. He had his little red hat and everything. Abu is probably one of my absolute favorites. I also liked getting art supplies. I always enjoyed getting like a nice oil pastel set or something, because it was kind of at odds with myself. Either super active, like just playing sports or being outside. We lived in the country, so like running around the cornfields and stuff, or inside, like doing something on a small scale, like arts and crafts or drawing or doodling. But yeah, absolutely love the Abu stuffy. We also, my dad and my older brother and I think this was when I was in third grade, we did a lot of Estes rockets, which are the rocket kits. And those were super fun. Had the little launch pad and the button to push, and then you chase it down. And so those are probably the standouts. I mean, there's so many things now that I think I probably would have loved. Like, I would have loved magnetiles and stuff like that. I liked building a lot, and we had Legos around, but we weren't. Lego in the 90s, it wasn't what it is today.
Yeah, no.
It was not. It's
yeah.
The same concept, but it's taken on such a different role. Same with other stuff like action figures. I mean, we had lots of Ninja Turtles and stuff around, but we like played with them hard.
Yeah.
Like throwing them off the roof and whatever. And now people are like, oh no, don't open it. You know? No, that wasn't like that.
Yeah, there's a lot of nostalgia coming back with like the toys. My husband is most upset that G.I. Joe has not come back yet.
It's kind of surprising. I love G.I. Joe.
Yeah, but he still has all of his G.I. Joes. They're at my in-laws. And like, he is just so excited for when our
your
little
son's
boy
gonna love them.
yeah. And you know, we did a couple of years ago, we did a 90s toy like exhibit. Like a 1990s toy exhibit.
That's neat.
And so people all the time ask me why I have a Furby in my office.
Furbies.
I'm like, it's an original 1990s
How did that
Furby.
happen?
And you know, and so it was so crazy, like putting my childhood toys.
Probably stuff you might have asked for Christmas, like when you were younger.
So, like, I'm pretty sure all of the toys, except for, because I could not find my Furby.
He'll find you.
I know, he will probably find me. He's probably lurking on a shelf in my parents' basement. But we were able to find like a non-working one on eBay. But so that's the one that sits in my office, just lurking on a shelf.
Yes.
But you know, like my Tickle Me Elmo, I put in there. Like it was so crazy just going through all my toys in my parents' basement, being like, oh my goodness, like,
for sure.
I can't believe that I'm putting this into a museum exhibit.
I think it is that. I mean, if we talk about pop culture, you know, just based on our memories or the impact it has on our childhood, you know, it's just closer in history to think like, oh, it's weird to have a Furby in a museum or whatever.
Yeah.
But we think about like other things on like a high regard, like the Fisher Price like phone pull along guy and you know, the plastic record player and those things. It's like It's not much any different than that. I mean, the Furby is definitely weird, but
Yeah.
I like weird stuff, and that one was cool. When I was like, this is weird. I like it.
Yeah, and I think too, like, it's so crazy that there's like the Toy Hall of Fame now, and it's like it's getting to the point where like toys from like our childhoods are getting inducted into the Toy Hall of Fame,
Right.
And like just those toys as well coming back nostalgically with Lego adult launching their adult line.
Yeah. We have money now.
Yeah.
And it takes a lot to buy Lego.
Yeah, it does take a lot to buy a Lego. And, you know, like them going very, very nostalgic with the Game Boy just came out.
Oh my gosh, I didn't even think about that. We had a Game Boy Color that I have 3 brothers. I don't even remember whose it was. I know it wasn't mine. But that thing on a road trip, oh my goodness, we would rotate that bad boy around. Loved it so much.
I still, this is crazy. This is probably, I should have recognized at a really small age that I was going to be like working in a museum or something. I still have my original Game Boy, like the original Game Boy.
Just gray.
Like part of this, like a fourth of the screen does not work. I can still play Tetris on it.
Sure.
And that's all that's important is that I can still play Tetris.
Those original ones were built like an absolute tank.
Yeah.
Like it's crazy. And I have this isn't my original Nintendo, but I have an original Nintendo at home that I like to collect games and things like that. And so I think it does become nostalgic, especially when you get I turned 40 this year. You think fondly of toys you had when you were younger and you want them back just to be on display, I guess, you know, as a way to decorate.
Yeah.
For me, it's my basement because you don't want it to be the first impression when people come over for dinner that you're like, okay, my husband has a bunch of weird stuff on the wall, but we can ease into it kind of.
Yes, very, very, very much so. And yeah, it's just so crazy. I mean, we have, my husband is a retro gamer. So like we have the NES, we have the SNES. We actually, the SNES was mine growing up.
Played that a lot growing up.
And you know, so like all of those, it's just so crazy to see how they have like retro gaming conferences now. Yeah.
I even saw there's a lot of companies that are making actual NES games that work in the original NES but are new games. Like they're new 8-bit games. Usually it's like a crowdfunded sort of thing. They're really cool. I think, well, and like the advent of games like Minecraft and stuff that are in that same graphic style. Yeah. People like having new games that look like that.
Yeah, no, and David Crane, who is the creator of Pitfall, he graduated from Northwood High School.
No kidding.
I
didn't know that. That's
so wild. In talking with him, he's been on the podcast as well. He was him and some of his friends are remaking Atari games.
Oh, cool.
So that you can actually play them in the Atari. I
bet they could do some really cool things with Atari now that they kind of have a better idea of how people like to play game, like the playability of a game. Whereas, you know, when it first came out, there's all these horror stories about like the E.T. game and some of them just being total stinkers. But and I've even seen some of the new NES games, like the way they're able to use the same 8-bit stuff but create different textures that are more elaborate that they just maybe didn't have the time for back then or didn't think people cared about. So that's cool. I like to see that kind of new spin on something old, I guess. Yeah. It's cool.
And if you want to be really, really nostalgic, the Ruthmere Museum up in Elkhart, they are doing a Toys Through the Years.
Are they? That's
for their Christmas, in which you can check out a pass at the library to get free admission.
Cool.
We have a Ruthmere pass. But yeah, so I think, if I remember correctly, the Hall of Heroes Museum had a room to decorate, and I think they did 80s to 70s toys.
Yeah, they would be the right people to do it for sure. Yeah, and there's a bunch of cool toys in the 80s for sure. Yeah. A lot of like documentaries I've watched and stuff, even into the 90s, like entire shows created just to sell toys, and it worked, and I
Yeah.
loved them too. And one of my favorites was there was a show called Biker Mice from Mars. It was one of the dumbest concepts. It was literally humanoid mice who rode motorcycles, and they were from Mars. But the toys were so cool. It was like their motorcycles shot missiles and stuff, and I had to have it.
All right, well, I have one last question.
Yeah.
But before we get to that, is there anything that you wanted to add that we might have not talked about?
No, not necessarily. It's just I appreciate what you guys do. I appreciate what other people around town do to make Nappanee a place where people like myself want to open a small business. I think they play off of each other nicely, and it would be weird having one and not the other.
Yeah.
So I'm thankful for it. Yeah.
Nice. All right, so we kind of talked about how the future of toys right now is nostalgia.
Sure.
Because all of the 80 babies are turning 40.
We're having midlife crises.
Yes. So like, what is the future of toys, and what does the future look like for Thingamabobbles?
I know that based on, granted, this will be our 5th Christmas, and we opened in August of 2021. But even thinking back to as my daughter has grown up, who just turned 10, and the toys, how it's changed or maybe stayed the same even, and thinking about what young parents tell me that they're looking for is a disconnect from technology, sometimes a simplification of what they're playing with, so something that encourages imaginative play or problem solving that's not like something isn't spelled out for you necessarily. So I think those are the main things, and sensory things I should mention too. I feel like sensory things for all ages, even to adults, has found a pretty solid home, which is just proven to help with anxiety and also focus and stuff like that. And so I think those 3 things, I think simplifying, removing technology, and incorporating sensory in some element to it are the main things, at least that drive the brands that we try to carry. Now, granted, we have stuff that doesn't fit that category, but I feel like the core of the toy brands, like Fat Brain and Hoppe and Magnetile, and those are to just try to help kids do the things that maybe we and our parents probably did when they were younger, like a building block set, or a shape sorter, or some sort of a puzzle, or a stacking rings, things like that. So that's where I don't know if that's where it's headed, but it's certainly where it is right now.
Yeah.
And I think parents are over it with the technology. I can speak from my own experience. It's a daily battle, and it's not going anywhere. So you have to learn how to just navigate it. And I think you have to learn how to be reasonable. Like I was telling my wife, this is just a quick story. I was telling my wife, I was just taking it easy on a Sunday, taking it easy. And I was probably dinking around on my phone for a half hour, and it didn't feel super productive, but it's whatever. It's Sunday.
Yeah.
So, we were trying to get motivated to do something, and I was just we're not like a sports family. Like we don't watch sports ever. So I was trying to describe to her, some families have the television on for like 12 hours almost on a Sunday. Like the entire day it's on. So I think people's idea of what screen time is now.
Yeah.
We were watching a lot of TV in the 90s.
Yes.
Okay. Like, it's not like we're all of a sudden like, oh, my phone says I was on my phone for 3 hours. It's like, yeah, well, my dad used to have a golf tournament on television for 10 hours on a Saturday. Does that count? So I think it depends on how it's used and if it's being productive or not. And also like offering it up as a way to take a break from reality, let's say. But it's not going anywhere. So we need to just deal with it productively.
Yeah. No, and with with the sensory items, I completely agree. We added play areas into the museum.
They're super cute.
And we also added a sensory area in which we do say, you know, if we get that you might be anxious or whatever, so as long as you return it back to the space, you're more than welcome to walk around the museum with them.
That's great. I think and I found a huge portion of adults, some products, I would say majority adults than kids, have them on their desk.
Yeah.
If you have a desk job and you're on hold a lot, or even if it's a communal space like a break room or something like that, you know, which is a great time to like cool down, or at least like when you're really thinking about something and you're working at something with your hands. I thought about back to when, you know, you and I were probably in grade school in the 90s, and just thinking like we would just like make our own.
Yeah.
You know, it'd be like a pen cap that I turned into like a fidget spinner. You know, we didn't know what to call it then, but we were still doing it. So it's nice that it's like we're actually just creating the things that we were already kind of goofing around with anyway.
Yeah. Very, very, very true. And yeah, so what does the future look like for the toy store?
Yeah, I think the hope is that we can keep expanding upon what we have going in the new space. It was tough. This has been like a tough year for business owners in general.
Yeah.
Moving here was an absolute blessing, but bigger space, having to bring in more inventory, which is a good problem. But, you know, I feel like I've been playing catch up all year until this point. I mean, this is probably the fullest the store has ever been leading up to Christmas. But there's other things I would love to do in this back area that we're sitting in. Like, I would love for the upper mezzanine area to be more, you know, kids museum quality or style, where there's like little like structure, more little structures. We have one up there, but like, you know, like a little vet's office or a little post office. Like I think of the Indie Kids Museum in that way. So I think expanding upon that, and also getting into maybe more of a regular routine of events like the stuff you sleep over. Like if I could find the time or energy to do one a month, like one third Friday a month, where we do blah, blah, blah. I don't know yet. So that's kind of the vision for the future, is to just have the toys, expand on continually bringing in new things there, but also trying to provide more entertainment, I guess, to put it abstractly. But yeah, and just to hang on, white knuckling. It's been crazy, like tariffs, inflation. Being open through all COVID craziness and trying to manage that, and then manufacturers being generally like in a state of flux since we've opened, like turnaround times and availability, and so I don't know any other way. So for me, it's kind of nice like that. Like I hear from a lot of toy stores that have been open for 10 or 20 years that they're just they're freaking out about it. I'm like, this is normal. What do you mean? It's fine. And they're like, what? And I was like, they're like, well, what do you do if you don't get that? I was like, I don't know. But I'm thankful. We're blessed to have a lot of very understanding customers, and they get it too. They're living through this as well as we are. And so, you know, I might not have the exact thing, but I try to have something at least in the wheelhouse so as to not disappoint somebody, I guess.
Yeah. And I'm sure like the new shipping regulations coming out of, if you're buying anything from Canada or like, I'm sure that's affecting you as well. Yeah,
there's a lot of changes to like the threshold for, as a wholesaler, you get free freight at certain thresholds, and that's kind of like the promo for us on our side. But the hard part is that since let's say it used to be $300 wholesale, from now it's like $1,500.
Oh, wow.
So it's only an issue if it's a brand you're not sure will do well. If it's a brand like we love Douglas and Great Pretenders and Tony's and Hop It, like that'll be fine. Like I trust those brands. But if I want to just try a new one, I have to be pretty confident it's going to go well. Or if you don't and you have to pay the shipping, I had an order that was for, I think it was maybe $800 or $900 total. The shipping, they remove it if you pay on time. Like they remove the shipping, but it's still on the invoice. It was like $350.
Oh, wow.
Almost half the order's cost. So yeah, it's wild. One false move and I could very much pay for it. But yeah. Anyways.
All right. Well, thank you, Scott, so
Thanks,
much
Martha.
for
Yeah.
taking the time to sit down with me and talk about things.
Absolutely.
Like, I'm sure once my little boy gets older that we will be a constant
new customers.
So.
They keep being created and it's great. And I love watching families like Martha's starting and expanding and growing. When we first opened, there was little 1-year-olds in strollers and whatever, and now they're like preschoolers.
Yeah.
And it's great. It gives me a sense of what it probably feels like a teacher experiences or something like that. So it's been very cute. But we appreciate, I can tell you have a passion for history, like I have a passion for toys, and that makes me happy.
Well, thank you so much again.
Absolutely.
Well, that's all we have for this episode. A special thank you to Scott for sitting down with me. Next month, Haley Yoder will be joining me and we'll be talking about Main Street Coffee House and Neighbors Mercantile. But before you go, be sure to subscribe to this podcast, hit like, or leave us a comment.